Everybody, I'm Zach and I like movies, and a happy new year to you all. Well, it's January now, and with that, we're still kind of in the season of, top 10 lists. Still waiting on David Ehrlich's video about the best of 2025. But for me, I personally try not to do like best of lists of the year at like year's end, mostly because I'm a bit of a completionist. I want to see as much and how many. Like I feel like one of these days I really want to do like a big top 50 of each year, at least each year that I've been alive and stuff. But due to where I am and due to like my my reach, I'm only able to see so much. Like I still haven't seen Sentimental Value, still haven't seen It Was Just an Accident, a lot of mostly foreign stuff that you usually premiere at film festivals. Everybody was raving about that. I'll probably be able to see soon enough, hopefully. So what I want to do instead is go through the 10 or so movies that were new discoveries to me. I aimed high with how many movies I wanted to see last year. Came up short. 2025 was a rough one in places for me. But nevertheless, I did roll credits on almost 100 new movies, and I had a great time watching them. Here are the 10 or so favorites. I honestly couldn't just whittle it down to 10. Let's get started. So first off, one of the first movies I watched this year was a classic action movie from the late great Tony Scott, and stars Denzel Washington. Like when he was like I feel like kind of at the peak of action lead Denzel before he much before he became like a old man action hero Denzel. This is Deja Vu from 2006, I believe. And it's kind of a high concept urban sci-fi where Denzel he's like an FBI guy. He's brought in after this bombing on this boat, and there's like a team trying to like figure things out, and like he's both like the guy that's brought in to like investigate it, and it's like in New Orleans and stuff. And the more that it gets roped into this, he's like, hey, is this way that you're like trying to figure out this like crime scene? Did you invent time travel? And yes, they did. And it's kind of this weird combination of various different types of movie wrapped into one. It's like got this weird sci-fi time travel element, sort of a la 12 Monkeys-ish. There's an element that's very much like a voyeuristic Hitchcock romantic thriller. It's of course a Tony Scott action thriller, so it's like got these the maximalism is cranked up. It's all emotive and just breathtaking to see. It all kind of works if you kind of really just like go with it and like just really let the movie just like take you on this ride. It really delivers all the goods that you want. And it's a kind of like weird high concept action thriller that we don't really get anymore, and certainly not done in the just visual splendor that Tony Scott movie absolutely can deliver. There's some beautiful imagery in this, and as crazy as this movie gets, like there's a chase scene where Denzel is like he's driving down the bridge, but he has to like he has to like drive on the bridge in the present, but also react to like how he's like driving on that same bridge like a week or so ago in the past or whatever. And so he's like dodging and swerving cars that aren't there. He's driving against the flow of traffic. It's a crazy action scene. And like you really kind of just need to see it for yourself. The cast, top to bottom, is really great. You got Denzel in the lead. Paula Patton is the romantic lead. The villain is played by I think this was like fresh off of Passion of the Christ, Jim Caviezel. You also got the late great Val Kilmer in there. Also Foggy from Daredevil. Moving on from there, one of my new favorite movies, period, of all time ever. I watched last year. Broadcast News by James L. Brooks. He's one of those names you see at the end of the credits of every Simpsons episode. But he's also, of course, known for these amazing, mostly like comedic melodramas, like usually usually involving Jack Nicholson somewhere in the mix. And here it is focusing on a trio of characters: a TV producer played by Holly Hunter, a TV news writer played by Alton Brooks, and a handsome anchorman played by William Hurt. It's just a really fun, great snapshot of broadcast television news that's sort of at the end of an era and shifting into a new kind of like news as entertainment field. And it's sort of, I guess it's something of a sort of I don't want to say like a more optimistic angle to like network or something like that. There is a bit of romanticism into like how television was done at the time. It's a little hard to like describe when I realized that this was like a perfect 10 on 10 movie, but everything was just singing perfectly together. The performances, the writing from Brooks is wonderful. And mostly the performances. My God, like this I think is the very best you will ever see from Holly Hunter. She has this amazing gift of finding ways to cry. She is maybe the best movie crier ever, and in both really sad and sweet and tender ways, but also really funny ways too. Like if you remember her from Raising Arizona. William Hurt has probably never been better. I'm not usually the biggest Hurt guy, but like a lot of his early stuff with like Altered States and Body Heat and this, it really shows he had some moxie. And Albert Brooks as your heart aches for him when he like finally has that scene where he's finally anchoring and everything is just falling apart. It's like, even just saying this, I really want to watch it again. It's so good, so good. All right, next up, we have a sad one. This is from Irish director Ken Loach. It is The Wind That Shakes the Barley. It's a period piece in the early 1900s Ireland that was about the Irish Republican Army's battle against British occupiers, fighting for Irish independence, and then the fallout from that became the Irish Civil War. And if you don't really know about this much about this history, I feel like this movie is a really good primer for this piece of history that I think most people will be unfamiliar with. And I feel like it hits just enough of just like the social and the political countrywide details, and really making them work in a macro sense of like following these group of characters, and as we see them be, put under incredible strain through all the violence they endure and the violence that they further enact against the British, and it's really effective stuff, and also stars. I guess this would be an early Cillian Murphy role. It's this was like 2006, so it was around the time that Batman Begins came out, but this is definitely before he like really shot up to fame with like Peaky Blinders and stuff like that. And he's wonderful, and Ken Loach's direction is very direct. There's nuance to be had here in like the characters and the relationships, and it's the things that motivates them to take what sides they do take and why they take it. It also has like interesting spots about like these sort of complications of having revolutions. Sides are really coming at each other, and then it gets nasty, and it's a hard watch, and it's a sad watch. Like this movie will bum you out by the end of it. But if you aren't familiar with Loach, I feel like this is also a great primer for his style. He's a director I haven't seen all of his work, but man, every one that I've seen it's been just a knockout. Speaking of knockouts, next up is Twin Peaks Fire Walk with Me. Absolutely was one of the best of his that I've ever seen. And especially since I watched Twin Peaks in the lead up to that. It's interesting how Twin Peaks Fire Walk with Me, it's both a prequel to the Twin Peaks series, but it's also kind of the anti-Twin Peaks in that it does not give you the same kind of like sort of warm and friendly, oddball, small town charm of the show. What you get in Fire Walk with Me is a really really dark and sad and just harrowing journey of Laura Palmer's death. And it's, oh man, it's so, like, the ending of this movie was so powerful and so just absolutely put me through it, that when it was over, I sort of just sat back and just let myself shed a few tears, because, oh man, that movie really, really struck me. I was not prepared for how much that movie really would, really just totally blew me away. R.I.P. David Lynch. All right, so to pick things up at least a little bit, next is an old movie from like the 60s called The Train. This comes to us from John Frankenheimer, a director who's honestly has quite a catalog under his belt. He's done like the original Manchurian Candidate. He's done like Seconds with Rock Hudson. He did Ronin, a really underrated 90s thriller with Robert De Niro. Without question, for me, this is his masterpiece. It is a really thrilling movie about French World War II resistance fighters as they are trying to stop a train that is carrying a bunch of French artwork that is being taken over by the Nazis. And it stars Burt Lancaster, who's a great villain role in the Nazi commandant, played by Paul Scofield. It's absolutely stunning to watch. It is equal parts Buster Keaton's The General, like a muscular war epic like The Longest Day, and also shades of a morally complicated spy thriller like Jean-Pierre Melville's Army of Shadows. This is an enormous movie. It's also has a great sense of like visual utility. There are absolutely just stunning sequences of these lawn takes where these many-ton beasts of machines that are just roaring and screeching across these like really economically done lawn take camera shots. This is the kind of camera work that you could really see and that you mostly get in like a Spielberg movie nowadays, where like so much action is happening in the screen. And they're all like so expertly staged and choreographed, like all the clutter of like machinery, marching soldiers, smokes, sparks, like everything, and it keeps moving forward at such an amazing pace. Every time it does take a beat, it does so in a way to not only let the action breathe, but also like to really show and appreciate the characters and the people surrounding the lead characters in their fight, and showing all of the effort that was made to just stop this one train. It's such an enormous, fantastic movie that it is kind of like a dad movie that you absolutely need to watch for yourself. It's incredible. I cannot recommend this enough. It is incredible. Really, really, really got to get the 4K of this. Okay, a more modern movie this time is La Chimera. It is a movie from Italy that stars Josh O'Connor, who his stocks have absolutely skyrocketed in 2025, probably higher than any actor working today. Like between like of course Wake Up Dead Man and Mastermind, and he's going to be in a Spielberg movie in 2026 too. And so it is a really odd and very beautiful movie where Josh O'Connor, he plays an archaeologist that like goes around robbing graves and looting these tombs with this kind of like troupe of Italian vagabonds. It's a movie that is just, my God, like the tone of this movie was it feels kind of like an autumn themed movie. Like it's very relaxing, but also so drawn into the way that like the world that it creates just sort of feels and breathes. So drawn into its atmosphere and its visuals. It felt a borderline mystical at points, especially in how Josh O'Connor's character is able to like kind of like feel out what is and is not a tomb worth, a grave worth robbing. And there's an appreciation, but he also has this like like again, it almost feels like a spiritual connection to like when he finds this statue under the ground, and he's so struck by its beauty of the carvings and and just the way that the head of the statue is shaped. It is a beautiful movie. I almost can't fully describe it. You kind of really just need to feel it. And it's on Canopy, and so it's basically free, and I really, really highly recommend that. It's a breathtaking movie. All right, going back to 2006, we have a movie that is kind of a favorite amongst certain sect of like film Twitter types and movies that feel like movies, and it's Michael Mann's Miami Vice. This is like a movie take on his old 80s TV show of the same name that I really need to see. It's got Colin Farrell and Jamie Foxx as a pair of cops, and they're doing like an investigation, but what the mystery is kind of really doesn't super matter. It's not like super important. What really matters and what really strikes me, like if the movie clicks with you or not, is the vibe. This is a really breathtaking, moody kind of movie that it just hits. It feels like a kind of movie magic that like really needs to hit you on the certain kind of wavelength, and when it does, it's just every other scene, even if nothing's really happening that's like advancing the plot or anything, is so gorgeous to see. Thinking back on like the scene where Colin Farrell's character, who is a fiend for mojitos, is he absconds with a woman he probably shouldn't on this boat ride. They have this wonderful date, and they come back, and then the next time they see each other, they're just like absolutely all over on top of each other, and they're basically having sex in the back of this car. And then they take a beat, and he just says "Hola chica," and I was like, yes, this is cinema, absolute cinema. And Michael Mann's digital photography here, because like this was like 2006. This was like after Collateral, when he was like really leaning into pushing the boundaries and the means of like what you could do with digital cameras at the time, because really making that a part of his style, and it's incredible. If you're into movies that are more mood pieces but also contain like characters that you really feel, characters that you there's action beats, there's like vibe. Again, if you're into Michael Mann, you owe it to yourself to check this out. All right, next up, I watched a couple of rom-coms last year that I hadn't seen before. Usually some like a couple lesser known classics, like Claudine with James Earl Jones was lovely, as was Crossing the Lancey. Beautiful movie, that one. And there's also Mississippi Masala with Denzel Washington. That was directed by Mira Nair. Is really, if you haven't seen that one, you're really missing out on a wonderful movie. But my favorite one of them all was the 80s classic Moonstruck with Cher and Nicolas Cage. Yeah, that movie really is that good. And Cher as well is also that good. It's a movie that sort of like, much like Crossing the Lancey, is a movie that's very specific on the type of subculture that exists in New York City. Crossing the Lancey is like very specifically about the love of this like a New York Jewish woman in her 30s, and sort of similarly, this is about a New York Italian woman in her 30s, and Cher is absolutely crushes this role, and it's a movie with a lot of feeling, a lot of big feelings too, especially with like Nicolas Cage's role, and it's so sweet and caring and romantic, which is a little funny because it's a movie where so many people cheat on each other, but it really is really easy to like. Honestly, few moments I think can like kind of beat where Cher walks into the hairdresser and she steps out with the full Cher hairdo, and it's like, yes, this is like an icon is born here. We will never forget you, Cher. And it's she's still alive, don't worry. That's Amore. It's wonderful. It's a classic. Can't recommend it. So, gonna go for another modern one. Kind of really shifting the mood here. Of the movies from 2024 that I watched in 2025, probably not only the best movie, but certainly the most important movie that I watched and really need to recommend again is No Other Land, the Oscar-winning documentary about what is happening in Palestine, both then and is still happening in Palestine now. It is a small village that is being overrun and ransacked by Israeli settlers, and the reporters and documenting what's happening as being excised from their homes. That people like living in caves nearby, and there's violence happening constantly from the IDF. It's really an absolutely important and necessary piece of documentary. This is like documentary as like not just a documentary as activism and documentary as like reporting, documenting that we were here. This is our voices. This is who we are. This is our people. We need to be heard. We need to at least know that we were not forgotten, that we were heard. And if you have not seen this, and I understand if you haven't, it's still a little hard to get. I think by now there are ways that you can rent it. You absolutely must. It's a hard watch, but necessary. I hope all those involved are alive and well and okay and are rebuilding as best they can. All right, I guess to keep things a little serious, but in a different direction, a show that I watched that I hadn't watched before until last year. I haven't seen Neon Genesis Evangelion until last year, and I watched it with my brother, and that led us to watching the End of Evangelion, which is a feature-length true conclusion to Evangelion's story, because they infamously ran out of money, and the author was going through a sort of spiraling through depression. And when you're spiraling through depression, you start thinking more and more abstractly about your place in the world. You get way more existential, which is especially given what Evangelion is as like a mecha series, and in like what it deals with existentially. End of Eva, they have a budget now. They're able to like really take full advantage of like finishing the story. And oh man, this one really puts you through it. This is the world is hell cinema in beautifully animated paint strokes and just really disturbing and surreal imagery, that especially when you like have been following these characters throughout the show, it's so intense and so gut-wrenching. This is not a movie for the faint of heart. And she's like, good lord, the way it opens with that scene in the hospital, and it doesn't really get much more optimistic after that. This is a crushing movie. The scenes with Misato and Asuka, good lord, oh man, it's not an easy watch. It's pretty nuts. I can't say too much more about that. But yeah, it's Evangelion, and if you have seen it, congratulations. So switching gears a little more again, I went through a bunch of Johnny To movies. The God, one of the coolest filmmakers to ever live. A real penchant of these moody, romanticized films about friendship and Hong Kong gangsters, but kind of essential movies in the subgenre of dudes rock movies, like Throwdown and Exiled, PTU. But my favorite of his that I watched is 1999 movie The Mission, where it's basically kind of a hangout movie of a group of triad gangsters who one of them has been basically as a bounty out for him, and he and his bros are trying to defend him throughout this long night. And it's man, this movie is cool. This movie is cool, and it's in a way, and it has this like very romanticized view of like male friendship. These gangsters live by a code of honor. They stand by their bros, and it's lovely. It's a movie that you really feel out. And man, the beauty of these nighttime scenes is, man, it's on par with that of like, it feels very like Wong Kar-wai inspired, definitely John Woo inspired in a lot of the action scenes, and it's, man, this movie is just too damn cool. So yeah, recommending that. It's also on Canopy, so it's basically free. Check it out. And yeah, Johnny To, the God. All right, and my final one, one of my favorite cinematic discoveries of last year was the collective work of Chinese filmmaker Jia Zhangke. He is honestly is one of the best directors working today, and certainly my favorite that I've seen out of mainland China. That is a somewhat limited scope, but what I have seen from him is he is marvelous. He has this wonderful skill of like revisiting revisiting ideas and sort of locations, even to really great effect, of like finding ways of like viewing China in moments of cultural and socioeconomic and political moments in flux. And my favorite one of these that I've seen from him, and he has great movies to choose from, like Ashes Purest White and A Touch of Sin, but the one that I think is maybe still my favorite of his is Unknown Pleasures from 2001. It's a movie essentially about three friends as they sort of drifting through this moment of this turn of the century China. There's moments of just, again, it's moments where you're just kind of like drifting slowly through these cityscapes and these locations amongst people. It's a movie that feels very lonely and very sort of isolated and feeling disassociated from the time and place you're in. But so many of these, and they're definitely slow movies, but they feel very rewarding when you like really just go with its flow. And there are several moments in Unknown Pleasures that really affected me. Just kind of one of those like pure cinema moments where like sight and sound and movement sort of coalesced into these like lovely little moments of like capturing a moment that felt very genuine, very authentic, and like it just, you can't quite describe it, but you can absolutely feel it. Yeah, I felt so strongly about it. It's a marvelous movie. He's a marvelous director. I do plan on reviewing Caught by the Tides soon, but I need to give that a second watch. And I think that'll do it. This was fun. I like this, and that was some of my favorite movies that I've seen last year. A lot of movies I went through, but a lot of really great ones too. And that's what I can hope for 2026. And hopefully I'll do this another time. Yeah, that's it. I'm Zach. I like movies. I got a whole lot of movies to watch still, and hope you follow with me. And hope you keep watching movies too, because movies are great, and movies are life. And despite even all that's happened in just like the last 5 days, life is worth living. And I'm going to keep doing that. And I hope you do too. And I will, again, I'm Zach. I like movies, and I will see you all next time. You take care of yourselves.